Hello, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Turk, and here we talk about all things autism, spirituality, gaming, or whatever the heck else crosses my mind. Today, I wanted to talk to you all about the idea of changing the world or transforming the world. You may have heard it said that in order to transform the world, you must first transform yourself. And I do wholeheartedly believe that. I have seen that for myself and within myself. But I kind of wanted to explain a bit more about kind of what goes into that and my views on how all that works and how you can do it for yourself if you're feeling a bit in that space. Uh, so I want to use some examples for myself, and I do talk about a lot of things related to autism or being on the spectrum on this channel. So let's say that you are someone who is looking to find acceptance for being your strange, weird, different, and I'm using words that other people might use, just being yourself, right? You're looking for acceptance for being yourself, maybe because you're on the spectrum or not, that's not really relevant. And you're not seeing, um, representation in the media. You're not seeing support from the government or your societies or communities, your schools, possibly even your family or friends, right? And you're not really getting much acceptance for being the whatever weird, unique way that you are. I would say that if you're in that space, what you're really looking for is acceptance of the self first. And that I've spoken a little bit about this on my channel before about looking for validation and acceptance uh, from without, and how that can be a fruitless effort a lot of the time. And truly, the best thing that we can do for ourselves is accept ourselves, regardless of any sort of external notions that might try to tell us otherwise. Because there is a lot of that going on in this world at this current point in time. If you were to use external sources to be your source of validation, they're going to leave you wanting, even if they are from your family or friends. Ideally, you would choose friends that do accept you for you, but even your most bestest friend that is accepting could have a bad day, and you might read that the wrong way. Like if one day your friend is just not really feeling up to it, and they snap at you, or at least they blow you off or something, and you're using them as your source of validation. Like you could take that in for yourself and be like, oh, that is a reflection of me. I have done something wrong. I am wrong. I need to be different. Where really the foundation of acceptance has to come from within first. And this is kind of sounding a lot like that other video that I made. But I think this is a very important thing, and I'm going to be repeating a lot of things here because repetition is key, especially when we're talking about working against the programming that we've kind of had put onto us from this world. And this is a very big one. We learn to derive acceptance from our direct family and our peers and our idols and teachers. We learn that we need to be accepted, and that is how we get love. When that is could be the furthest from the truth. That is not how love works, and the two aren't tied together, though they are in that you do love and accepts. We should love and accept all wholeheartedly and wholly as they are. So we're talking about changing the world here, though, right? So you might live in a world where you're not really getting much validation or acceptance for the way you are, or even specifically uh, being treated differently or poorly or negatively. The key first to changing the world, to transforming everything from outside, starts within. And that does mean turning within to look at all the parts of yourselves that you were looking to validate and accept, and accepting them for yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly, the weird, the fun, the strange, all of it. I know it's easier said than done, but it is essential. and it can be done. And it is certainly a worthwhile endeavor because you are worthwhile. You are worth being accepted. You are worth your own acceptance. And what you might find is that things get a little easier. The world gets a little less heavy, a little less threatening, a little more welcoming because you are welcoming yourself. And two, just being able to put yourself in that space of accepting yourself without any sort of external validation um, is going to put you in a place where you just are more able to then go out and talk about the things that you want to be an activist about acceptance, to make those changes out in the world. You're going to have just a lot more strength and confidence and ability to do so. None of these things are things that happen overnight, but they are things that you do see these shifts as you continue to work on them. And I think, too, this is a great place to focus because if you're like me, you probably spent a lot of your life seeing a lot of things in the world that are difficult and are wrong and painful and unjust and all of these things. And you may have felt powerless to make changes against those things. And you might have only thought of like grand gestures of like, oh, if I could just do this amazing thing, or like just give this perfect speech and just convince people, or just like have so much money that I could do like all this activist stuff, and or what, just like grand gestures to change the outer world so it is a more accepting place for people, and then thus you could feel accepted. I know I'm talking about acceptance a lot, but this goes into any sort of way that you might view the world needing to transform. That's um, that's a whole nother subject. So you may have found yourself in that space where you're just looking at all those grand gestures and just like feeling powerless. But the reality that I'm finding is that just accepting yourself and bearing that version of yourself out into the world is going to do a lot of the work in helping transform it. When you can just be yourself and be yourself honestly and confidently and openly for other people to see, that is going to awaken something inside of them. And that might cause them to act out in a certain way. They might act out in anger or frustration towards you, but that's just a sign that it is touching them, it is working on them, in that it's making them question things. So, if you are out and you are being met with hostility for you being you, just know that it is working, it is doing something for those people. And to not take that as a judgment that, oh, you've done wrong, because if you are being yourself honestly and openly, you cannot do wrong because you're just being your honest true self, and that is what we're here to do. And I believe that that has the most power over anything. You could have millions upon billions of dollars and be funding it towards all these activists venues, and I'm not saying that these things aren't worth supporting. I think, again, once you get yourself to that space that you are accepting of yourself, you're going to have a lot more energy and ability to help further those causes, to be out there more in whatever way that you feel drawn to. I feel drawn to making videos right now and being more active in communities, and I've been working on that sort of thing. But it has only been by looking within first that I've been able to do so. And And you'll find too that when you do that, like I said, the world does feel lighter. It feels, when you do that for yourself, the world feels lighter. It feels just easier, and I'm not saying it's all sunshine and rainbows, but it it certainly helps. It helps a lot to be able to do that for yourself. I think that's about all I had for this video. I kind of just wanted to share this short message about transforming the world transforming the world. I feel like a lot of people, I'm targeting a lot of my messages towards those on the spectrum, and I feel like pretty much anyone on the spectrum. I don't like to speak so broadly or generally, but I feel like people on the spectrum quite often are going to be uh, very for the sort of thing because of their nature. We tend to, I don't know, those on the spectrum tend to be far more aware of all of the broken, difficult, wrong things in this world. And so, um, I think it's easy to get caught up on those things and trying to fix those things, and not focusing on ourselves first. It's said too that you can't pour from an empty cup, and I have found that to be absolutely true as well. Focus on energizing and restoring and healing and filling and fulfilling yourself first, and allow that to be the font with which you pour into the world, with which you pour your own healing light into the world. Um, yeah, other than that, I'd say too, like, it absolutely can be done, and it's going to be done. I'm already seeing the subtle ways and not so subtle ways that it is happening, and uh, I know with the overwhelming amount of things that uh, that need to be changed in this world, it can seem like a lot, but just take it a step at a time and focus on you first because you were worth it. You you can't. No, I've run out of good analogies, and it's late. Um, yeah, that's definitely all I wanted to share. That's it. I'm done. So thanks for joining me here. Again, you've been with Turk in just my little space on the internet. Uh, Thank you. I hope wherever you are that you're safe, well, and happy, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.